Hi everyone, and happy full moon in Virgo. So this is a grounding moon, and you have to check the local times where you are, but it was 7:42:52 here in on the West Coast. So I brought out some tarot cards for this video, and I wanted to talk about the energy of Virgo at this full moon, and everyone can benefit from it. Doesn't matter what your zodiac sign is. If you are Virgo birth sign or Virgo is your rising sign, you'll feel it a lot. And if you have Virgo somewhere else that's prominent in your chart, you'll also feel that. Also, on your birth chart, you could be more earth than fire. Okay, you could be born a water sign, but you have a lot of fire in you, and when people meet you, they'll think, oh, you are fiery, even if your rising sign is water or earth. So knowing your chart and knowing if you are more of an earth person is pretty amazing. I remember when I learned that in astrology, that just kind of opened up my mind even more of other things that I already know, and I just make these connections. I won't go into that because that would be a sidetrack. But what I wanted to focus on is the first house in this full moon in Virgo. You have Uranus and you have Mars in the first house. Mars is at home in the first house, right? So it's Aries location. But this is quite interesting because this full moon there's a couple things I want to touch on, but Uranus energy of not really caring what other people think and tapping into that energy, especially if you care too much about what other people think. You want to get into this mode, or you will get into this mode, because the moon, and not just the moon, but just any day, doesn't have to be a full moon or a new moon, but if you tap into the energy of that particular moon or that moment, you can really keep the momentum going for your own energy. So this full moon is very grounding. It's very organizing. Okay, and I hope to get to that later. But this full moon is about you, if you choose to tap into it, about really strengthening yourself, not caring what other people's opinion, is or will be of you. You just want to be yourself and be happy, and you can use that Uranus energy to say, you know what, traditionally this is this and that is that, but I want to do this. This is what feels right to me. This is who I really am. Being your authentic self, just being yourself, and who likes it, who doesn't, then oh well, right? And then you have Mars, right? And Mars is at home in the first house. So with this Uranus and Mars, you want to make sure that you aren't being too selfish or too abrupt with you feeling yourself, feeling who you are, and not really caring, and being very empowered, or just feeling like, you know what, if someone doesn't care this much, then why am I putting so much energy into something if I'm being mistreated, or I'm not valued, or there's just not a click there. So you can't please everyone, and you shouldn't care to. So this Uranus energy is like really putting that there, but it's more of if you can allow that Virgo energy to be more grounding, it's your own strength without really being loud about it, right? You just go and do it, and that is it. No explanation, no worry about it. Say how you are feeling, but you're choosing things in a wise way, okay? So that Uranus energy, before I get to that, so with the first house, you have that Uranus, and you have the Mars energy, and the Mars is a fighter. It wants to stand up for itself. It wants to protect itself, and in that standing it's good. But if it gets too crazy, where it's just thinking about itself and not worrying about building a relationship, then that's when it's bad. And right next to Uranus is just destructive, right, for relationships and even for yourself. Before the full moon started, like a week ago for me, 2 weeks ago, I felt the urge to get organized. And I even forgot that it was a Virgo moon that was coming up. I was just in the mood of getting things done. I had already organized things in a certain way so that I could use each weekend and days in the week, if I had the time, to get things organized. Because by the end of last year, it was my time devoted to other things other than what was in my best interest, right? And it was really just not enough time to get a lot of things done. And it just became more busy with work and everything. So that was a big thing. So you'll find that in coming up to the full moon, you'll still want to get rid of things, right? And even though the moon is growing, you want to grow with it. And if there's something blocking you or something is not organized, not right, and it's moving up to this Virgo moon, I was like, okay, I already got everything organized. I need to get it done. Then in my community, they worked on the water. And that was like on a Thursday. And on a Friday, I remember it was like 8:30 p.m. I heard this loud banging on my door. And I was like, okay, I'm tired. I've been up since 4. Let me just go chill, put on Netflix, whatever, and read. And I'm multitasking even right before I go to sleep. And I hear this big banging at the door. And I walked over to my bedroom door. And I feel like this puddle of water. And I was like, what is that? My mind could not. And I was on FaceTime. And I was like, what? And I had my socks on because it's so cold in the desert recently with all these snowstorms. We're feeling it here in the desert. And long story short, the water heater burst and it was just a nightmare because it's like in the closet with the washer and dryer. So, for a condo, that's how it's set up. It's not in the garage. So I was like, okay, water. I wasn't even thinking of the moon coming up, even though it's ground, it's earth, right? But water feeds earth, vice versa. If I want to make that connection, whatever. So it's like before the weekend, that was a Friday, the weekend before, something was nagging me, take everything away from that part of the living room because I want to use that space for my yoga videos. And I'm like, yeah, I got some work done. I'm good. And then the weekend's coming up. So the Wednesday, nagging feeling. Thursday, nagging feeling. I shouldn't say nagging. It's just a helpful warning. Then Friday that happened. And I kept saying, nope, I have time on the weekend. I'm going to really knock everything out. I'm going to get up early Saturday morning, knock it out. Sunday morning, knock that out too. Man, that shifted everything. Carpet ripped up, new padding, fans on for 2 different nights. I didn't even get good sleep. It was a nightmare. So that was like another lesson in getting organized or listen to your intuition. Always, when I don't follow my intuition, I always regret it. Very strong intuition. So it was like that lesson of getting organized and getting rid of things that you might not need or things that you do need, but when you move from like a bigger place to a smaller place, you have a lot of things. And it's like, okay, put it in the storage locker, so it's all that grounding, that lesson. And maybe for you guys, you might find that there's something that you should have done before the full moon, but we all have something that's going on that will distract us or call our attention. But then we have to remember and get centered back and say, hey, this is something I want to do because I have this other future goal or this present goal. And the delays after delays, things will come up, but my passion is still there. And I'm like, okay, this is that February lesson of, hey, let's get it going. And I got a lot done before the 5th of February. And that's another important time because this February month is really important because you had the moon calendar, that new year for the moon on the 5th, right? So the 4th, 5th, and 6th was huge, right? So you had the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, and I think the 4th was the new moon, right? So it was all of these celestial events happening where it was like just saying, hey, this is some other goals that need to get done, and you need to get it done. So bringing it back to now the full moon, I got so much done, even more. And the thing with the Virgo moon coming up is that you feel like no matter how much you do, you can never get enough done right. Okay? And I was feeling that. I was like, I cannot get everything done that I need to get done. And even though I did a lot and I went to bed extremely tired for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Like I did a lot during the day and I still was hard on myself. And at the end of the day, I'm like, don't be hard on yourself. You did so much today. And I think one of the weekends, like a Sunday, I was like, I can't get out of bed. I have to lay down. I'm not doing anything. I was so angry. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything today. I did so much. So I took the day and rest and I regretted it. But then I was like, you know what? No, I really needed that rest. All right. So Uranus card, the Fool. And now the most important thing is that it's 0 degrees. I think for my location, 0 degrees 42, right? So 0 degrees, the Fool. It's like starting over again, right? So you can think of that point as something new, something changing, something something that needs to change, something that can be filled with more information, more knowledge, right? A new start. And it's very powerful, so it can be what it wants to be. So the Uranus card can be the Fool card. It could also be the Tower and the Devil card. Okay? And of course, the Sun is also, the 0 degrees is the Fool, and also Uranus. So that's one. Okay, so that Uranus energy can say, you know what, I want a fresh start. I want to be myself. I want to be me. I don't care if other people don't like it. You know, even though a little part of us is like, yeah, I do care. But after a point, you're going to hit that point where you're like, you know what, I just need to be me and be happy. And your need for happiness is going to eventually be stronger than your worry of what other people think. And if you don't, then usually people regret that as they get older, right? The Uranus energy can be a Tower card because it can also just destroy your old self to your new self, destroy relationships. And those relationships probably need to go if the person won't accept you for who you are. So the Tower can be that destructive energy, good and bad, just like Mars. Okay, Mars can also have, Mars is the Tower card as well. So Mars is the Tower card. So I'll bring it back up again. The Devil card, I didn't pull it out of the deck, but the Devil card can also be the Uranus energy. Okay, and it's more of you could flip it in a positive way of you following what it is that you truly desire. Well, you know, it's like an addiction. It's like addiction can be negative, but if you are passionate about your goal or something that you want to do, you are going to be so passionate about it and you're going to make time for it, even though life can get hectic and crazy. So you can flip it to say, you know what, I'm going to be selfish, kind of like that Mars energy, and really focus on myself and what I need to do and where I need to go. And you're going to find that strength to do that. You're going to know that you have that natural talent within you and you're going to find your strength again. Sometimes we can lose our strength by other people's negative energy, by us being weak for ourselves. And when we find our own strength again, we're like, you know what? We throw it back, that energy back, and block it and just focus on what we need to do. Right? So the Uranus can be the Fool, it can be the Tower, it could be the Devil. Mars is the Tower card, right? It's a war planet, it's a fiery planet, it's destructive. So that can have good and bad effects. So you can use this full moon to really strengthen you, kind of like that Virgo earth energy is like the roots of a tree is solid, right? So it's not going to go anywhere. So this moon, you can use it to build yourself up. Okay, so the Moon card, the moon, right? The moon. So it's a full moon in Virgo. So the Moon card is the High Priestess card. You think of the High Priestess, that Alpha and Omega, that balance of both sides, the tree of life, the knowledge, right? The feminine energy, but also it represents a balance of both, okay? And a lot of times in the tarot, well, this is more Cancer, but we have like the moon card. But the moon is the high priestess, okay? And this Virgo moon, we want to find that balance for ourselves to just bring both sides together of ourselves. We're both that masculine, feminine energy, and just bringing it together and really asking ourselves, who am I and who do I want to be? And really bringing yourself back to yourself without so much judgment, stress, and worry that we might associate also with Virgo. Overthinking, a lot of that too. You know, I have Virgo in my charts too, prominent. So a lot of overthinking and needing to make that decision and say, you know, worrying, is it the best decision? You know, having different thoughts about something and just trying to find the best next step for myself, you know. And we want to do that. Everyone wants to find what they need to do and make the best decision. That's natural. Now, the Sun card, the Sun, okay, the season that we're in right now, okay, the Pisces, right? We're in Pisces. Like, are we in Pisces? I don't know. Okay, so we have like the sun, okay, and we want to start anew, okay. Especially, this is like the snow moon, the cold moon, the snow moon, right? So it's so cold, and we've been having so many storms. But this type of freeze, if you will, this type of winter cold is just making us more grateful for what we do have. And I've been finding myself saying, okay, what do I not need? And even at the store, I was talking to this girl, what do I not need? I'm starting to like just get rid of stuff, but also even the food pantry, because it's winter. It's like, why did I buy this food? Eat whatever I have, make a dish out of everything. Instead of like going to the store and buying new stuff, like say, okay, this is a time to be grateful. Let's look in the pantry and let's use it up. Because if we look at the expiration date, it's coming up eventually. So make use of the food that you have, and you're clearing, making space, and you can make that into a ritual of gratitude. And, you know, I bought this stuff, so let me clear it out, you know. Let it go bare, you know, and just say, okay, this is what I have. And when we do that, we realize that we're so rich. We have everything that we need, you know. So the Sun card being in this this season, okay. And of course the Fool card, again, the 0 degree is the Fool, okay. And you're open to receiving more information, more knowledge, more guidance. Where you want to go, where do you want to be? Just having yourself being open to this moon's energy of organization, of letting go what you don't need. I did a lot of donation. Luckily, nothing got destroyed in the water because I moved stuff. Some of the books that was in a different closet because it just spread to almost every room except for the dining area and the kitchen. But luckily, my neighbor helped me turn off the water thing. But anyway, I have a new water heater now and all that stuff. But you know, 40 gallons, that would have been a lot. But then I found out like 2 weeks later that 6 other units, their water heater was all installed at the same time, probably, who knows. Anyway, 2 units were upstairs and the people weren't home, so that was not fun. So that energy of water definitely came through. But Virgo being Earth, maybe needed that. You know, we're getting all this snow. I don't know. The energy of this year. You know, we're getting all this snow maybe for the spring, for a new, I feel like this spring, my little prediction is that there's going to be a surge, a birth, something new is going to happen. You know, with all of this water energy, it's like the earth is just going to just bring forth like something new and better, right? So when I was shuffling the deck and I was finding all the cards for Uranus, Mars, Moon, Sun, and the 0 degrees, right? The Fool. Then I I was like, let me find the cards first and then shuffle the deck. And I'm like, no, let's shuffle the deck first. And this card, I'm like, what's the message for this full moon? What's the message for this full moon? And the 10 of Staves popped out. This is so perfect for me, but I wasn't just shuffling. For me, I was just like the energy. And this is overworking yourself. And that's what I was doing, because I really felt like that was just the extra kick of, hey, this is something you want to do anyway, and you need to get it done right now. So this 10 of Staves was like taking on too much. Now, the too much that I was taking on, I let go, a whole other story. But the whole work that I had to do in here, I was doing it already, but taking my time. But I knew that I really needed to get it done quickly, so this water really helped. So I turned that negative anger of what happened into a positive thing, and if one day I didn't do a particular area that I said that I was going to organize, like I said that to myself, then a huge mess would happen there, and I would have to organize that area right away. And I got angry, and I'm like, you know what? Don't force me, don't push me, but I'm doing the best I can, and I really want it done. And I know the energy wants me to get things done and be successful and be happy and balanced and organized and blah, 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 blah. But I don't want to be rushed. But I realized that, hey, I have to get this done and not allow anything else to distract me. Not putting things really in the way of doing what I need to do, but, maybe offering too much help to do this, just focus on what I needed to do. So this 10 of Staves is about taking on other people's work as your own. So be mindful of that. But use your energy to get yourself together, organized, clearing it out. Because you have that January, February, March time frame to really get things done. Usually by March, people get even more stressed out and all this negative stuff. Don't, because this whole time frame is what you're supposed to be doing, right? And then by April, May, June, you'll see bigger changes. So the first, if you're going by that calendar, January, February, March. But February, right? February, March, April. That whole time frame is just to get yourself together, to get things together, and to do what you need to do. So I could go on, but using this full moon in Virgo to help you become more stronger within yourself, that Virgo energy, getting grounded, getting organized. The full moon and 3 days after, it's that energy to just use it to get you organized and to get you where you feel that you need to be. Okay? And then also, it's in the ascended part of the chart too, okay? And in the ascendant part of the chart is also Chiron, about, the ability, the desire to heal ourselves, but unable to heal ourselves. So we can find healing there anyway by rising above. And I wasn't even factoring Chiron in there, but now that I see it on the chart. But the message that I got for this full moon was rise above your own weaknesses and fears. So it's like using that Virgo energy to, even though they're worried, they're perfectionists, they care so deeply, but they already have it together already. So it's like tapping into that energy of rising above our own weaknesses, our own fears, and realizing that that's just us worrying about it because we care so much, and flip it. So I flipped that whole water into a positive, hey, let's get organized. But it was still stressful. It's not all fairy tale. I'm not going to present a fake story. No. A fake picture. No. But you just say, okay, I'm angry. That's okay. But how can I make this into positive? It's just helping me move along, right? And you can use this time frame to get organized, to get grounded, focus on you and making yourself better, but be mindful of that Uranus and Mars energy coming together. Make sure you use it in the highest way and not in an arrogant, egotistical way. And that will provide more healing for you. You'll find that you're tapping into healing time for you. So then when the moon starts to wane, you can just shed anything that's coming up for you. Okay, so this video is longer than I wanted it to, but know that that the ascended part of this chart is all about healing, and I feel that just shedding during the full moon and 3 days after, and even leading up to the new moon, it's all about just letting go of any issues that will come up from past experiences with friends, family that made you feel weak or anything like that. But you're just getting so much more power in this full moon. All right. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.